Merry and festive greetings to everyone out there in the world of diecast. And today we have got some, oh yes, we've got parcels and some finds and not a Hot Wheel to be seen. Okay, it's been quite a while since we saw a Corgi here at the Count 5 garage. And this month I actually picked up 4 of the little beauties, and all these ones are from, well, this one's actually from the early 70s. So we see on the base there it's got a whiz wheels. So that probably puts that right back to 69, 70 in age. And as you can see, it's got a metal base. I do believe these actually came out around about 1971 with the metal bases. It could be slightly earlier. Used to be a rocket, this particular model. You can see it's seen better days. It's probably actually been used as a rocket, given the some of the damage that's on there. But overall, very interesting car. It's called a Marcos XP. I'm not sure what XP stands for. Extra pressure, perhaps, or extra. Who knows? Put your comments below if anyone knows what XP means. There we go. And made in Great Britain, of course. Looks like it's been through the wars. Here's another nice piece. This is a slightly later model. As you can see, it's actually lost the Corgi on the bottom. It's also lost any kind of identification with the whiz wheels, except for actually owning some real whiz wheels there. And these ones are a bit mashed up. In fact, the whole vehicle's been pretty mashed up. Looks like it's been used for some heavy salvage work. Quite a nice piece though to pick up anyway, and it would probably make a rather good restoration. I'm sure there's a few people out there just looking at that going, restoration, ooh. And yes, that's definitely restorable. How about this then? Slightly older than that last piece, but probably around about 1980, 79, 80. This is a police rescue vehicle, Land Rover 3 Series pickup. Fortunately missing the all useful tow hook, but the general condition is not bad. It's even got its little bubble there, little tool storage area down in there, very nice. I do like these old Land Rovers, and I think this is one I did not have, and will go quite nicely with my Corgi police force. Very cool. And finally, and probably the most unusual out of the batch, is this old Range Rover. My word, it's got an open top. Now, the last time I saw an open topped Range Rover was in the back of someone's shed on an old farm, and the thing was just cut to pieces, but it definitely had no roof, and in the back was it was just filled with animal droppings and hay and dirt and mud and all the other good stuff. So I mean, it's even got a kind of a bull bar at the front there. So this is kind of like a safari vehicle, a bit of luxury, but the passengers aren't going to get a lot of luxury in the back there, are they? This is basically bench seats or a big sofa in the back there. Very nice. Still very cool vehicle though, and an unusual piece, and I love all the detail on the base there. You can see there it's got the Corgi marking, so this is probably from around about 79. Again, it's actually got real whiz wheels on it as well. corgis cost me 50p each, which I thought was quite the bargain given how old they are and their vintage significance. Well, also searching through the same box, and believe it or not, it was a box of Hot Wheels from probably around about 2010. They were just chipped up and mashed and quite nasty, some of them. I did put some by, and I will probably save them for a future video. Obviously I didn't buy them because my budget is quite limited. So I did actually pick up some Siku that I found in amongst these old Hot Wheels, as well as those corgis, and I'm going to show you some now. So this cost me 50p, this old CJ, I think it's a CJ5, or is it? Yeah, CJ5. Very shiny base, practically unplayed with, really. Funny thing is, I do actually have two more of these as well. So this is quite a, I wouldn't say a very rare vehicle in my collection. It's unusual to actually have 3 of these, but it's very hard not to pick something up when it is in pretty good shape, and an old Siku at that. And this is probably a Siku from the end of the 80s, given those wheels. I would say that's around about 88, 89. So it's pretty old. But also the scale on it is huge. I'm going to go with a 150 scale because Siku right now are releasing a lot of 150 scale pieces as opposed to their good old 155, which I prefer. But there you go, very interesting CJ, but not as interesting as this. Oh yeah, this is really nice. This is a Mercedes E230, as you can see on the bottom there. Slightly newer than that other piece. The quality levels, I would say, not quite as good either. I mean, this whole Jeep's got metal base, metal body. Love those wheels. This piece, it's moved. It seems like it's moved to the other factory. That one in Thailand, of course, although it doesn't say so on the base. A lot of these Sikus from the mid-90s didn't actually tell you where they were made, which is a shame. But I'm guessing it's probably a Thailand piece. And also, judging by those wheels, they're kind of exactly correct for the vehicle, which is nice. It's got opening doors, it's got a bit of interior in there, it's got some good old-fashioned dirt. I like a bit of dirt. But this is a wonderful model because you just do not see this particular car made by anybody else. And of course, Siku, being a German-based company, like to release their German vehicles, and this is a wonderful piece, and I really am enjoying it.
Well, hello. I thought I'd do a little video on replacement wheels. This is my ad hoc studio arrangement here that I put up for something different. So you can see some of these display carry cases that you can purchase, which aren't exactly cheap. Let's do a bit of a background there and a little bit of a mention about my Instagram account and my Twitter account. So if you want to see more of the stuff that I do, it's there. Right, so in front of you, you can see, sorry about the camera, you can see some of the models that I have put replacement wheels on. So the important thing to say about replacement wheels is that, you know, they can improve very basic models and turn them into, well, from a toy into a model. So I can pick some examples from this lot here. If you have a look, this one is a Matchbox Group 6 Racer, which dates from around about 1970. And that's got Hot Wheels, basic Hot Wheels, but it's got these tyre markings on it, Goodyear tyre markings. So it really does lift the model. Obviously I've resprayed and detailed it as well, which adds to it. It's done in Haulamania colours, Haulamania Racing, who were very successful in the mid to late 60s and into the early 70s and still exist. So that's that one. We've got a Hot Wheels Gas Monkey Corvette, which came out last year. There's a big fuss about this one because it was you know, such an attractive model, but it was sitting on basic wheels. So these are real riders, which I've fitted on. Done a bit of detailing. You see it lifts it up amazingly. That one. This is a Hot Wheels BMW 3 CSL, so 1973 car. Okay, and that has got wheels, replacement wheels, which, yes, they are metal. Quite incredible level of detail on those, and lift the model up enormously. Again, it's one that I have customised, a Red Baron effect. So they're by Walton style wheels, and this isn't really an advert, it's just a mention for them really, and it's a chap called Tom Walton. He's a British guy who I believe is bringing these in, and they are absolutely fantastic. Here's one that's actually come off so you can see, because I haven't glued them on yet, but yeah, it's quite incredible level of detail when it focuses. Yeah, let's go for this. Now this is in fact actually one that I did for the Matchbox custom competition, and these are monoblock wheels. This is sitting on the soon to be coming to the UK Nissan Junior by Matchbox. So monoblock do a number of different designs. Okay, this is another one that you do which is quite similar to a mini light, and this is on my Matchbox AMX Javelin or AMC Javelin. So I've actually painted these. They were a rather lurid colour, but they lift the models up no end. Rubber tyres. We have a look at what you can do with Hot Wheels Real Riders, which I got off another car, put them onto this Matchbox station wagon. One that came out last year again, really lifts it up. Yes, I have put an interior inside here. I didn't like the black plastic wheels that you've seen before. So that's that. So these in front here are the Matchbox Ford GT40, which came out, oh, I think probably about 2 years ago now. And in itself it was a reissue. Okay, they made some slight changes to it. So it's a very nice model already. I took that, did an overspray over the yellow, and I fitted Hot Wheels Real Riders again. With the red lines. Made a big difference there. Makes it into something very different. Same vein, here we have the Matchbox 1971 Nissan Skyline. Now this is the one that I was in the competition, Matchbox custom competition last year, and this is the one that I put in. They sent me the raw casting, and I actually fitted a genuine 1971 Matchbox Superfast wheels to it to give it a period feel. That's what it looks like that. So that's going backwards in some ways. And then here, these are, I think, M2 wheels, M2 brand. So looking very basic, and this was a complete respray as well on that model. A few other things. This, which I've shown before, but these are from, I think, a Mattel Cars model. So, you know, rather sort of cartoonish, but works quite well for what is a cartoonish car. The Hot Wheels 1970 Ford Escort, which superb model, but these are in fact Matchbox wheels. I've blacked out the centre spokes, so that really does make a difference again. Sporting Haulamania Racing colours of sorts. And here's another curio. This is the Cosmobile from Matchbox from about 1975. These are cotton bud tubes in which I've fed the axle through, and these are current Matchbox wheels, making something quite a lot more spacey and Space 1999 for some of our older viewers there. Really lifts this model into something else, and this was a beta that I picked up at a boot sale, so it really made a big difference. And lastly, the Rolls Royce that another one of these entries for the Matchbox custom competition, the first round of it. and I think I've talked about this before, but these are in fact actually 1/43 scale Mini Cooper wheels, and they're mini light wheels. They work quite well in scale onto this 1/64 scale or thereabouts Rolls-Royce. So that's what you can do. I mentioned two companies. There's Walton style wheels. Yep, they're the rather nice metal ones. And Monoblock. Okay, so you can see the details there. They are on Instagram. Here is what you do sometimes when you've taken wheels off. Hang on to them. Don't throw them away. I've got this in this rather dandy £1 bargain storage unit from Poundland. In here it's all compartmentalised. I've got sort of 70s Matchbox wheels, 80s, 90s, current ones. I've got Hot Wheels. There's axles in there. This is just bits of spare stuff for modelling. And yeah, some other bits and pieces. So it's, once you get into doing replacement wheels, you'll find it very satisfying. It can be quite time consuming, and you can get quite obsessive if you're not careful. But it's great fun, and you end up with something that's a little bit more like a model and less like a toy, like these handsome beasts. So enjoy, have fun. As with this hobby, it's all about the fun, and I'm sure that Chris does agree with me on that. To count 5. So over to him. Thank you very much. All the best.
Wow, picked up a few things in boxes. I think we need to have a look inside some of these, don't we? Let's have a look. Okay, first up, I've got this Austin taxi cab from Tomica. Absolutely brilliant piece. I wasn't sure if Tomica made a taxi cab, and there it was, sitting on the shelf. My mate Will goes, "Oh, I thought you'd like that one," and he wasn't wrong. And the best thing about this one is the packaging. Funny enough, it tells you all the Tomica pocket cars that were available back in the day, and this is probably from around about 1983. There's a few on there that I've actually got as well. I've got the Morgan and the 300 SL, as you know. Now I've got that taxi cab that you can see there. That T3, that 2CV, that's one piece I would really like to get. I've actually got the T6 as well. So there we go. Oh, and how about that Miura? Now that's probably the old Matchbox casting as well. So very interesting. And there she is. The Austin Taxi Cab by Tomica. British release. Right, I think I'm going to do this one next. This is an American Highway Legend 1/64 scale Mack truck. And yes, it's going to come out the box, because I really want to take some pictures of this one. I've previously picked up an old truck as well from the same diecast series. I'm not sure how they were released in the UK, or whether they were actually released at all in the UK, but they all seem to come with this generic bed. As you can see here, it's actual solid diecast cab, diecast chassis, rubber wheels. It's got little plastic wheels in there. Yeah, they're probably generic truck wheels as well, but it's proper Julies as well. So you've got your 2 rubber tyres there. Made in China, Mack truck, made by Hartoy in 1991. So that probably puts this around about 1992 as a release. Again, I'm not sure how they were released in the UK, whether they came with a magazine or they were just released as a special one-off. I don't recall seeing them in the shops at all. Although back in 1991, I don't think I was actually going out especially buying bits of diecast, so I wouldn't have seen them anyway. Very interesting pieces. The only bit of plastic on here really is the window, the interior, and the chrome grille at the front there. I believe that the light stalks and the actual lights are actually made out of metal with little plastic inserts in there. It's not your top of the range diecast, but what is good about it is it's a 1/64 diecast truck. And just put that into perspective next to probably a 1/64 car. There we go. So it does look rather cool. And this looks like a vehicle from around about 1948. I would hazard a guess. I'm not 100%. Maybe earlier. Very cool. Stanley tools. which is very famous as well. If one out there who likes your old Stanley knife, there it is. And of course they make good saws as well. Lovely, lovely piece. Clear the decks because we have got a Racing Champions mint in the house. Oh yes, and this is a 1948 Ford F1 PU, and it's an official piece that was originally released with the Motor Trend magazine back in the day. It says there the Motor Trend magazine was set up in 1949. I don't believe that Racing Champions were making their models then, but an interesting fact on here, if you notice right there at the corner, says that they released their pieces in 3.25 inch, so that's 3¼ inch models, which means some come in 1/64 and some like this come in 1/58 scale, which is a little bit bigger than 1/64, and hence the some of the problems I've been having with Jada and people like that when I've been deciding what kind of scale they are. They're almost there we go, it tells you again there. They're almost 1/64, so but they're also almost 1/55, nicely in the middle. As you can see, I've pre-cut the back there. I don't mess about on this show with cutting things at the moment because it's so near Christmas. Got plenty of cutting to do. Oh, let's have a look inside. Absolutely love the way they pack their old mint pieces, and this is what they're doing now. You can go to your R2 display, pick up a Racing Champions mint, and they're still putting them in these boxes. Awesome. Actually protects the piece really well, and doesn't appear to be any superficial crackling going on. Of course, the pieces from this period, from this manufacturer, renowned sadly for their very, very poor die cast quality and prone to serious crumbling. But this piece seems to be in very good shape. I'm hoping that that is true with all of their mint range. Of course, it's got an opening rear area there. It's a very festive colour, isn't it, this green? Absolutely splendid. And I believe it's actually period correct as well. I did a little bit of research because you do. It's a rather interesting piece. Of course, this is the beginning of the Ford F series as we know it today. The original from 1948. There we go, we've got the little engine in there. Is that a V8? It looks like a 6-cylinder engine, judging by those exhaust ports there coming out. Very nice, very good closing bonnet there. No other opening features, but it does feature quite a cool interior. Big old bench seat in there, and these things, of course, ripe for customization. I don't think I'll be customizing this one because it is just so granny perfect. And of course, 1948. Of course, you would have seen that alongside this Mack truck, and this is where your 1/64 and your 1/58 come into play, because that F series truck is absolutely massive compared to that Mack. Makes the Mack look like a little mid-range vehicle, but still very, very pleased with this piece, that's for sure. I'm hopefully going to pick up some more mints as I go along. it's that time of the day. We like to say hello to a couple of Mercedes-Benz 300 SLs. Oh yes, we've got the very, very nice premium no rev piece. Really nice in the red box there. Quickly show you that, show you around the box. And I've also picked up this piece here, a very interesting name, Lega Tøjhusbil, which translates from Danish into toy car. Yeah, we've got this Danish shop. It's probably just opened up just for Christmas, and it's selling these very interesting scaled, because you will see the size of this beast, cars. And I picked up this one, of course, because it's a 300 SL, but they do other models as well. They have Corvette C2s, or is it C1? Sorry, the Corvette C1. There's a very dodgy looking Bel Air and all sorts going on, but this was the most, I felt, accurate piece from what I could tell in the box. First impression was good, and of course when you get it out the box you realise that it's a very poor made in China piece, and it's actually got space there for what looks like one of those pullback motors, but unfortunately this one does not have a pullback motor. Would have made it a bit more fun. And I'm guessing this car is probably around about 155 scale. It is pretty huge, so I'll stick it up next to its brother there, and it looks massive compared to that, so it's got to be bigger than 155, so I'm going to say 150. Okay, so in order to suss out the size of this car, I pulled in the big guns, and my biggest other version of this is the Siku model, which we can see there right next to it. And you know what, it is really not that far off 155 scale, is it? Look at that. It's just like probably just a touch bigger. But that's a good sign actually, because it does actually mean that this is its own casting. It hasn't been ripped off of the Siku model. It is actually standalone, doing its own thing. But there we go, a nice piece nonetheless. So let's get this one out. I love these no revs. Ooh. Now this is a 1/64 scale car. There we go. Little tiny thing. Let's just put it up next to the Siku. We can see, look, there we go. Massive. Now everything about this car is absolutely gorgeous. We have a lovely front grille, lots of real lights in there, well, real lensed lights. Opening doors. These are a little bit stiff, so I have to be very gentle. There we go. You can see where the driver's compartment, all the rest of it's in there. That's cool. We've got tampos around the side, around the back, and around the side there. Tells you what it is. There we go, Mercedes-Benz. Now the only thing, apart from the plastic base, which lets this down, I think, in my opinion, is the wheels. Now, those tyres are so skinny. The rims are perfect, but they're just a little bit too big for the car, and the tyres are a little bit too thin for the car. It's almost like they should have painted that outer plastic rim there black. Maybe I could do that, and that may give it a little more semblance of reality. But apart from that minor detail, which is quite striking actually, it's a very nice piece. And the top thing about this is, because it's got no rubber tyres, it rolls very well. Let's have a little roll test here. Look at this. There we go. So it's a good little roller. I don't know if it'll be a good little racer, but hey, it's got its Formula pedigree, so you never know. and festive greetings